The PTO rankings have been updated and it is getting close to the end of the year, so these points are beginning to mean more and more. As always, there are some strong reactions. Let's take a look. First, we will take a look at the men's, and we see that the ideal time given for the race was 3 hours and 41 minutes. Remember, athletes are given points based on their time in relation to that ideal time. Christian scored 113 points to top the charts, with only 3 others joining him above 100. Since it is time-based, we see athletes in the 10 through 20th position really struggle with their scoring, dropping down into the 60s despite this being a world championship race. In the standings, we see that this further secures Christian's position on top of last year's number 1, Gustav. The rest of the standings stayed relatively the same until we come to Ben Canute, who jumps 12 places after his 110-point haul. Interestingly enough, Ben is the highest ranked non-full Ironman athlete now on this list, at 16th place. Not for long though, as he has now announced he's going to race Ironman Arizona and will hope to better his 87-point score with the 10% bonus he will receive. After Ben, we see Freddie Funk jumps up 3 places, and so does Aaron Royal. The difference between 20th and 21st is a cruel $5,000, and Chris Leiferman will be joining Ben in Arizona to rectify that. Everyone pales in comparison to Mike Canute's jump to 25th in the world following his 4th, and Jackson Laundry also moves up a few places. On to the women, and we see only 3 women are over 100 points here: Taylor Knibb, Paula Findlay, and Emma Pallett-Brown. And in comparison to the men, the points drop-off is even more steep. So much so that if you are 15th in the world, you are getting 67 points. Now onto the leaderboards, and the big jump is from Taylor Knibb, who lands herself in 4th place, same as last year, which is worth $70,000. She moved many places, as this was her 3rd countable result for the year. Interestingly enough, it was actually 4 points less than Lucy for last year's 70.3 Worlds. Lucy's 4th place at Worlds doesn't even show up and help her score out this year. Moving further on down, we see someone who caused a lot of upset when it was released was Emma Pallett-Brown, who only moved up 1 spot to 14th with a 100-point score. When we look at her breakdown, we see that she doesn't take advantage of any of the bonuses that PTO offers, and despite winning the European Champs and numerous other races this year, she remains at 14th in the world. Another big mover was Flora Duffy. Like Taylor Knibb, it was her 3rd race of the year and makes her jump up all the way to 17th and earning her $13,000 for doing so. When criticizing the rankings, we have to remember that they were released in early 2020 by the PTO to pump more money out to the pros who were suffering during COVID, and it was also part of bringing more stats to the sport. They then paid out that year's money early to help with all the race cancellations. There's been a lot of criticism since, and recently we've seen even more hostility, with posts like this calling it a joke. And with so much money on the line, it truly has become a hot topic in our sport. It's worth heading over to PTO's website and getting further clarification on the ranking if you're at all confused, as I was when they confused us moving the eligible scores from December 1st, 2020 to a 52-week rolling period. One of the main criticisms is that using the time as points seems to take away from the merit of certain athletes' performances on the day and over the course of a year, kind of like Emma Pallett-Brown. It tends to favor those who pick the right races, especially PTOs. And then the other main criticism is the bonus system that completely favors Ironman athletes with 10% bonuses as shown on the screen. It ends up being a monumental amount, up to 20 ranking places or more. Plus the 5% bonus that only the top athletes get a chance to race for at the PTO Tour events doesn't help those further down the rankings. But even those who are invited, if they aren't able to make the race for whatever reason, that 5% bonus that they miss out on could cost them tens of thousands of dollars. And not to mention that this all affects their chances for the Collins Cup selection, which pays out another $1.5 million. Either way, the ranking system is definitely not set in stone according to the PTO, and we could see some changes next year. Last year, there were no bonuses offered, and we'll have to wait and see whether this is going to change in 2023. Please let me know your thoughts down below. I hope this becomes a platform where you can come and join in on the comment section, and we can all have a healthy discussion around triathlon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.